and this video is, well, as you guys read, it's gonna be about Harley Quinn. But let's get to it. Cool?
So Harley is generally known as the Joker's love interest and his sidekick, but there's actually much more to her than that. In fact, if you look at her more modern iterations, you'll find that she's more solo these days and doing things on her own and just being a very independent villain or anti-hero.
I feel our romance is dead.
But as for Harley, her origin, or at least her creation, she was created for the Batman animated series in the 90s for the episode Joker's Favor. And she was just supposed to be a cameo. She was meant to be a henchman so that she could pop out of a cake in the burglary scene, because they thought it would be weird if the Joker did it himself. He ended up doing it anyway, but people still loved Harley Quinn.
So let's talk about Harley Quinn's outfit. First of all, she's had tons of them. They all change, but they always seem to complement the Joker's outfit. But as for the original, it got inspiration from Arlene Sorkin, who is a friend of Paul Dini, who is the original creator of Harley Quinn. He saw her in an episode of Days of Our Lives, which was a soap opera, and in that episode she wears kind of a jester outfit, and that's where the inspiration came from.
Okay, 2 drummer boys going to a bar, but
And it's also interesting to know that Arlene Sorkin was the first girl to do Harley Quinn's voice, and yes, it was for the animated series.
Now, while Harley Quinn's original personality was also modeled off of Arlene Sorkin, most people these days probably know her as being portrayed by Margot Robbie. However, despite what many people think, her portrayal of Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad is not the first time that Harley Quinn has appeared on screen, just on the big screen. Her first live-action appearance was actually on television, on the short-lived TV show Birds of Prey. But people are definitely going to remember the Suicide Squad more, and there's a reason for that. Speaking of Birds of Prey, the first actress to play Harley Quinn in a live action was technically Sherilyn Fenn. She played the role for the unaired pilot for Birds of Prey, which as a show in its entirety only ended up running for 1 season. During the actual season itself, Harley Quinn was recast and played by Mia Sara.
They'll kill him in 2 seconds.
Now, Harley Quinn is so popular that some people, Dave, tend to think that she's overrated and overhyped.
Hey, that's not true at all!
It's not, because as I'm about to tell you, her numbers don't lie. I'm talking, of course, about her sales numbers. For those following comics, they will know that once again DC is relaunching its universe, and what this means is that sometimes when the continuity within a comic gets too complex and too large, the series will just relaunch, start everything again from zero. This actually already happened a few years back with the New 52 storyline that started after Flashpoint. But now get ready for DC Rebirth, which is a whole new relaunch, which means a whole new Harley Quinn. And yes, she's gonna look a lot like she did in the Suicide Squad. And because of her popularity, she is once again getting her own standalone comic. And the sales for her first issue of Harley Quinn DC Rebirth are already in at over 400,000, which in this day and age is just insane.
Always take shots from folks who just don't get the joke.
Now here's an interesting fact, guys. When it comes to Harley Quinn, everyone's always like, oh yeah, man, Suicide Squad, it was the first movie to really have Harley Quinn. Well, believe it or not, she was actually going to be featured in a previous film. Now, before Batman and Robin was released, that's right, guys, I'm talking about the movie with bat nipples, bat ice skates, I don't know, and of course, let's not forget Arnold Schwarzenegger and an overuse of neon and black lights. Oh yeah, and of course, we can't forget the Batman credit card. What the heck were they thinking? Now, the producers were happy with the dailies of the film that they commissioned director Joel Schumacher, who was set to direct Batman Unchained. Now, this would be his 3rd installment of a Batman series, however, eventually he did pull off of the project. Now, for this version, it was gonna include Scarecrow and Harley Quinn. Now, as for Harley Quinn, they were gonna go in a different direction. She was gonna be a little bit different from what you guys, well, know her as. The writers wrote her as the daughter of the Joker, who decided to go after Batman for revenge. It was written by Mark Podosevich, and yes, even had George Clooney, Chris O'Donnell, and even Alicia Silverstone returning. But that movie never happened. We had Batman Begins instead. Scarecrow was in that one.
Now, when people tend to think of Harley Quinn, they also think about the Joker. The two are kind of linked together in people's minds. But despite this, Harley has actually had other romantic interests. Some of the more notable ones have been Deadshot, even Batman himself, and they've shared a few kisses. But the most canonically accurate would be with Poison Ivy, who some of the creators at DC have actually stated that they share a relationship, though it's not monogamous.
Now, okay, looking into the whole series, I gotta say, this next one just well, it made me die. Because apparently there is a Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover. Yeah, didn't believe it myself, but apparently there's 6 issues that were released between 2015 and 2016, so it's rather new. But what's really weird about it is Harley Quinn gets turned into a mutant hyena, all because of the Shredder. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. And then after she gets knocked out by Batman.
For all you gamer fans out there, a lot of people like playing as Harley Quinn. Well, Harley Quinn was originally going to be a DLC character for Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe. However, unfortunately, this production went bankrupt midway through, and it never happened. But fear not, gamers, because for those in the know, you know we've gotten our fill of Harley. You were able to play or at least see her in the Batman Arkham series for all 3 of those games. And now she will be appearing in the highly anticipated Injustice 2. She was really fun to play in Injustice, so I'm really looking forward to playing as her again in the sequel.
And lastly guys, if you guys are watching this video in 2017, get ready because the 7th annual Harley Palooza is happening. What the heck
Okay,
is...
sorry, we gotta do it again now.
Yeah.
We've switched,
I'll
didn't we?
shoot
We switched, I realized.
And your shoulder was like off the screen, in the middle of the screen.
Oh my god! This is so gonna be a blooper.
Head,
Okay. Alright.
Sasha, back up a bit. I think both of you back up a bit.
Back up.
Yeah.
And lastly guys, to close out, if you guys are watching this in 2017 and San Diego Comic-Con has not happened, get ready guys, because it is the 7th annual Harley Palooza. What the heck is the Harley Palooza?
Well, it's great. It's a fan event where if you go cosplaying as Harley, which a lot of people do to a Comic-Con, she's an extremely popular costume, this is an event where all of you dressed up together as Harley can take pictures together.
Oh my gosh.
So it's all the Harleys in one place.
Oh my god.
Male Harleys, female Harleys,
Male Harleys?
every Harley.
Wow.
Yes.
Dog Harleys? Oh my gosh, that'd be good. Harleys dressed up as Harleys?
Like you mean the motorcycle?
Yeah. It's going too far. Here we go with Harley Quinn and Joker facts. Bam.
Boom.
So, okay guys, you know in our last video we told you guys that, yeah, the first time that she appeared was in the animated series. And that was in the 22nd episode called Joker's Favor, which aired on September 11th, 1992. But what most people don't understand is they think that, you know, as soon as she got introduced, she was like already in love with the Joker. They already had this story and everything planned, but not really. She was just simply a henchman. And then after that, she had an origin story which told more about her.
What you probably didn't know was Harley Quinn's real name is Harleen Frances Quinzel. She was a psychiatrist at the Arkham Asylum where she first met Joker. Now, they had a few sessions together, but what really bonded them was when Joker lied to her about having an abusive father.
But hey, that's the downside of comedy. You're always taking shots from folks who just don't get the joke.
Now, you're probably wondering, why does that make them bond? Well, Harley Quinn herself had a very abusive upbringing, and this was the beginning of Harley Quinn finally being more sympathetic towards him, as opposed to thinking he's just a psychopath.
Alright, so Harley Quinn, yeah, maybe she's now got a thing going on for the Joker, but maybe that wasn't the breaking point. As a matter of fact, the biggest breaking point for Harley Quinn was when she saw the Joker get beaten up by Batman.
I am not someone who is loved.
Cause come on, a big guy comes in there and boom, beats up a pale white scrawny kid, yo, you're gonna feel sorry for him.
And there, as always, was the self-righteous Batman, determined to make life miserable for my angel.
At that point, she quit her psychiatrist job, she joined the Joker, and the Joker was like, yo, wait a minute, I should call you Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinzel. Rework it a bit, and you get Harley Quinn.
Now, Harley and Joker, well, they don't really have an equal relationship, let's be real. As a matter of fact, the Joker, he doesn't really seem to have a lot of romantic interest in Harley Quinn. For example, in the animated series, there's a scene where Harley Quinn is wearing lingerie, she's trying to seduce the Joker while he's working. Her iconic line is, oh, come on, Pudding, don't you want to rev up your Harley? And then at that point, Joker just simply is like, get the heck out of the way! Now, it seems like he doesn't care about her, but what makes this relationship really complicated is that in films like Suicide Squad, you'll see the Joker attempting to rescue Harley, which makes everybody go, WTF is going on with this relationship?
Now, a lot of people glorify their relationship and often say relationship goals, but really, no.
Are you serious?
That is
You serious?
absurd.
No, seriously guys? No, just terrible.
Speaking of abusive relationships, Joker doesn't just hit her, he also pushes her out windows. In an episode in the Batman animated series, there was a point where Harley Quinn kidnaps the Batman to give her pudding a prize, and he actually kicks her out of a window because he didn't kidnap Batman, she did. In the Batman Arkham Asylum video game, Harley Quinn tells Batman that she was actually brainwashed by the Joker, making her more of a victim than an accomplice.
Tell me something, dear. Have you ever had a really bad day?
Now, in our last video, we did talk about how she's had relationships with Deadshot and even Poison Ivy. But the reason she joined Poison Ivy was maybe not just because she was 100% like, yeah, Poison Ivy's hot, but because the Joker attempted to murder her and she's like, nope, I gotta move on to somebody else. I mean, green hair, I'm going with a girl with green vines. I'm in. Now, Harley Quinn and the Joker have also teamed up to brainwash Robin. They pretty much renamed him Junior Joker and treated him like a son. And this was in Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. Not gonna lie, guys, it's a really dark storyline.
In the Suicide Squad movie, there's an Easter egg that you guys might have not noticed. There's a scene where Joker is lying on the floor and all his prized possessions are around him. There's weapons, guns, knives, machetes, but what you probably didn't notice is there's 3 baby onesies up on the right-hand corner, which could imply that the Joker and Harley either had a family or were considering having a family. In Injustice: God Among Us, Year 2, Issue 13, which is not canon, Harley Quinn reveals that she actually has a daughter with Joker named Lucy. But this child, Joker has no idea even exists.
Now, in the Batman comic issue 663, Harley clues in that the Joker wants to kill her. And instead of moving on like in her previous relationships, she actually just shoots him in the shoulder. Wow, these guys are messed up.
And it doesn't even stop there. In Suicide Squad, Joker actually leaves Harley Quinn in their beautiful Lamborghini, which goes right into a river and just lets her die. But fortunately for Harley Quinn, Batman comes and saves her.
Alright, so for our final fact, we should probably talk about the new 52 comic, which is a pretty cool comic because for Harley Quinn, what were you saying? She's a lot more independent than her previous incarnations.
Yeah, she's actually had several relationships, and she also broke into the Arkham Asylum to finally kill Joker.
Oh, snap! But guess what? She didn't really actually kill him. She kind of beat the living crap out of him and then was like, nah, you know what? I'm done with you.
Yeah, she actually took pity on him because that's what he always wanted.